As someone who has a very hard time finding a video game that really hooks me, it was a pleasant surprise when I stumbled upon Chained Echoes. As a huge fan of the old school RPGs, I have felt a void in the genre for quite some time. But I'm here to tell you today that while nostalgia was a big reason why I bought Chained Echoes, it is only a very small fraction of the reason that I love Chained Echoes. And to put it very simply, Chained Echoes is a perfect game. And here's why. Welcome to the first and only video game review I will ever make. This is Chained Echoes. When it comes to video games, I have been living in a rinse and repeat cycle. This cycle involves me spending hours looking for new games that will scratch that itch. Then the cycle continues with me buying a few games and playing them for anywhere from 10 minutes to maybe an hour or two. And usually what happens is the game just fails to hook me. I don't find myself wanting to play it anymore. My mind usually starts to wander, and I wonder what else I could be playing. And this is while I'm still playing a brand new game that I just bought. Then the cycle just repeats, and I find myself going back to step one looking for new games. I can honestly say when it came to Chained Echoes, this cycle was completely broken. I found myself actively really wanting to play this game. Even when I wasn't playing it, I was thinking about it. And it's been a very long time since I've had a game do that. I've been thinking a lot about why this game feels so different and why it was able to break this cycle. I believe it's because of Chained Echoes' structure. So let's break down this structure. And for lack of any creativity on my part, we'll call this structure the Cycle-Breaking Megastructure of Awesomeness, or CBMSA for short. What this structure does is it provides pillars that are a foundation for keeping you hooked and stopping your mind from wandering. They also give you an itch to want to see what comes next. The first major pillar or hook that this game provides is the combat. There are two types of combat in Chained Echoes. The first is on foot, while the second is in sky armor. The developer obviously took inspiration from Xenogears for the sky armor battles. And as for the on-foot battles, I'd say the developer had a very old-school Final Fantasy meets Chrono Trigger vibe. The key ingredient that brings all of this together, in my opinion, is the overdrive bar. The overdrive bar is a perfect addition to turn-based combat. While you are in the overdrive section, you deal more damage and take less damage yourself. This promotes you using the abilities that will move the meter in the direction you need it to. This provides certain things and aspects to the combat to make it have a lot more variety. One of those varieties is that you find yourself switching party members constantly to have full control over the overdrive meter. One thing that kind of bugged me in the old days when playing party-based RPGs is there were a lot of party members that I found myself just completely ignoring. Well, the overdrive meter kind of takes care of that for you, as you will find yourself using a majority of the cast on a regular basis, even with mid-combat switching. That is free and does not take up your turn to do so. The second variety is that you will be using lots of different skills every turn. Gone are the days of auto battle or simply mashing attack over and over again to get through fights. You will be using a lot of different skills every round, and you'll find that lots of characters will actually complement other characters' builds. For example, Sienna has a move that will deal 3 times damage to a paralyzed enemy. Well, it just so happens you have another party member named Rob that has an ability that can paralyze targets with 100% accuracy. All of this paired with the fact that after the battles you refill your HP and your TP automatically. This really helps with the game flow. No more menuing after every single fight and downing tons of small potions or TP refills. You get to just finish your fight and move on. And I must say, it's a breath of fresh air to have fights where you have to use strategy and you get to go all out every single fight and not worry about managing your TP and your HP outside of combat. For me, this made the combat super enjoyable. story is the second pillar of our cycle-breaking megastructure of awesomeness. While I'm not going to give a full synopsis or go into great detail, I will go over what I think is important. So many games have failed to grab me when it comes to the story, like Chained Echoes has. Other games I would find myself mashing A to get through the story, or using a skip story feature that was built into the game. This is not the case with Chained Echoes. In fact, it hooks you very shortly into its massively deep story. The size of the cast in this game rivals the early seasons of Game of Thrones, while still managing to keep each character unique and standing out from the rest. These characters just ooze with personality, and I have to hand it to the writer. I grew to love the cast, and even a few characters outside of your party. With solid plot twists, great pacing, this game's non-voice story will have you turning the page excitedly to find out what happens next. I think one thing that they do very, very well is not overload the player with too much info. You get a sense of building as the story progresses, as they introduce new areas, characters, and there's a crescendo that just seems to keep on building. It's amazing to me that this game was made by a single developer. One of the benefits of this, which is very evident in this story, is that there's nobody holding the writer back. With themes of religion and a diverse cast, it is refreshing to see a story told and unfold unhampered by the board of directors or some agenda holding the writer back. So without spoiling anything, I will just say this was a pleasant surprise. Having to read story while you're trying to explore or fight did not seem to slow down the pace of this game or ever make me feel like I was being interrupted. This is not easy to accomplish, and it's very rare to see in RPGs these days. I really enjoyed this aspect of the game, and I know you will too. I think we've learned in recent years that exploration is only as interesting as the world designer makes it. And a big part of that is the why. Why am I going here? Why am I going there? Because a mini-map tells me to? Two games that have recently really changed the way I view exploration are Ghost of Tsushima and Elden Ring. Those games found interesting ways to entice the player and provide mystery. Chained Echoes did something to elevate the exploration in a very new and interesting way. Let me introduce to you the reward board. This board, while simple in theory, makes for a nice change and a whole lot of depth when it comes to exploration. Find all the buried treasures in an area, get a reward. Find all the hidden caves in an area, get a reward. And after that, all the rewards can chain together to give massive bonuses such as Grimoire Shards, which allow you to build your characters up with skill points. It also gives Sacred Waters that allow you to unlock new class emblems. The level design itself is terrific, teasing you with showing you a treasure chest but not letting you get to it right away, showing you a cool area that you'll have to come back for. It's all great stuff, but add in the reward board and you have even more reason to return to areas that you visited earlier in the game. All of this just cemented the geography of the world into my brain, and it made each zone separated in its own unique landscapes and its own rewards on the board. Outside of the reward board, you also get to fly around in an airship, and you can recruit new members for your secret hideout, which levels up and provides your clan with more benefits. It's something I haven't seen before, and it's a very strong pillar in our game structure. I would be doing a terrible disservice if I didn't mention the music. You've probably noticed during this video I've been playing tracks from the original soundtrack. I love this soundtrack so much that I bought it so I can listen to it while I'm not playing the game. The moods and atmosphere that the music provides matches perfectly with the scenarios that you're experiencing. The songs are very well written and they can easily get stuck in your head. All that being said, I love Chained Echoes, and these are my final thoughts. I really hope word gets out about this small indie game. It takes everything that we love about video games and wraps it up into a beautiful experience. This game is very well balanced, and you don't often feel like any of the fights were especially easy. I want to thank you for watching my first and only video game review that I will ever make. And since I don't really believe in ratings, as they're kinda all over the place between critics and audiences, I don't have an actual grading scale. But if you put a gun to my head, I would probably have to say, just like the greatest movie ever made, Spinal Tap, this game goes to 11. I hope you enjoyed the experience as much as I have, and I definitely plan on replaying the game soon. Thank you for watching.